Hello and aloha po, the Baha'i greeting to all the people of the planet. In the last few videos we were talking about this matter of covenant and the Baha'i successorships and whatnot. That was an insert to the real program and curriculum that we had. We started the third book with a relationship between husband and wife, talked about parenting, and the second relationship was between the father and mother and the children. And this would be the explanation about the third relationship that we as a human being have. On the previous one I spoke that essentially a man is like a word that cannot really render a meaning. But if it is attached to a few words before and after, it can create a sentence that can render a meaning, can translate to a concept. And now I'm going to speak to say that as a word, us, with relating to our parents and our children, our wives, I will create a sentence. Now if you want to make a book, a whole book, you have to take all the family members in, all the immediate families. Not just grandpa and grandpa, but brothers and sisters, uncles and aunties, cousins and nephews and nieces. All of them have to come in. The whole clan has to be in there. I said previously, the minimum requirement to define humanity is to have a connection to the past and to the future, meaning to their parents and to your children, to make just like a genetic code, which a minimum definition of life. Now if you want to make an organism, you want to make a living being, like a human being, then you need all the immediate families. Very, very important. One cell in the body on its own definitely cannot live too long. Or even the animals that are one cell animals, like bacteria, amoeba. They don't have much strength and much of a lifespan, not too much of a, impression from them. But if they attached many of these cells together and they create a multicellular being, such as a human being, of course the individual cells could last a lot longer. The one cell might live 1 day or 2 days or 10 days, but a cell in my body, because they've created this system called human being and a formula, can live right up to 70 years. So the functionality and the limit will grow in the gathering. If it is done based on a proper formula, anything comes together, does not create family. So the nature has helped us a kickstart by connecting us genetically, blood-wise, to be in the same gene pool as our uncle and aunties are. So this way, it's kind of half the unity is already there, naturally is there, biologically is there. We just have to give it a meaning, okay, by going together. I'm referring to my notes here. Because a man in the family, where all the cousins and all the uncles and aunties are, it just works better, it functions better, it's happier, it does not get hopeless, it doesn't lose hope. Can be saved from depression. A lot of our children, if you've noticed, they look like their uncles, aunties. I think that's just telling us that if our child looks like our brother or our sister, then this trace is telling us there's a resource right here that we could use our brother and sister to do the part of the parenting for our children. A child who just has mom and dad is really not fully parented. He's an orphan, partially. Child would have to have uncles and aunties, definitely cousins. Especially if you don't have children at all because you never married, or you're married and you don't have children. Within this form of family, you could do partial parenting by, have a relationship with the children of your brother and your sister as an uncle and auntie. So, from the very childhood, in my opinion, we have to tell to the children in the family, if you have some, that they're the best friends for each other. They're the best people that they can trust each other. It's harder to trust other people. From the childhood, they have to know. This idea of a person, one of the children is a favorite child, another one is not favorite, as some of the children, they use these terms around here in the West. It's totally derogatory. Parents always have to say that there's no such thing as favorite child, because that's totally the foundation of discriminations, and it's bad both for the child who's discriminated against and the child who think is favorite, And if the children have good relationship, naturally in future they grow and marry, and their own children's, which are cousins of each other, they have good relationship as well. In this relationship, all of a sudden, if you have one child or you have two child, because of your relationship to your brothers and sisters, now your children have more brothers and sisters, many of them. Especially these genes are very strange, because your child looks like your uncle, and your brother's child looks like you, and your child looks like your brother, and they can see this within themselves, that these are a sign that we have to have a relationship with each other. So often a child cannot be told by mom and dad a lot of things because you're too close to them. You can never be their teacher. There's a problem with being too close. Then you're not appreciated. This is where you need a hand from your brother and your sister to convey certain messages to your child. And that's the greatest asset, because you do have trust to your brother, and he knows who you are, and he knows you most. It's very important to use that relationship for these purposes. Now, when they're together, you as a brother and sister, because you're connected, you grow up to be connected. Your children have more brothers and sisters. You have more children, yourself. And so in this relationship, uncle and aunties are really the secondary parents, and cousins are secondary brothers and sisters, and nieces and nephews are your children, extra children. Such a relationship, such a little, organic, is so powerful that is the secret of building of the new world by the Anglo-Saxons. Anglo-Saxons, they were not just a mom and dad deciding to come from England to here. No, the whole clan would move. There were a lot of relatives, blood relatives, friends. And that was their source of entertainment. There was no entertainment. Just they get together, they see a lot of things, and this is live relationship. And TV has come and has created this in between, you see. It's like have TV and these media is like having sex with your wife, with your husbands, from behind the glass. You want to touch, sometimes you see in the movies, they kiss each other behind the glass. They don't mean to to kiss the glass. They mean to kiss each other. Just the glass is a media in between. So TV and this and that are like this. The whole concept of sex, in fact, is that it's meant that the soul, they're touching each other. As the soul, they go together, their body comes to go close together. That closeness has to be an indication of the soul getting together. So we get rid of those lot of medias that we have, and necessary medias. There has to be medias. I mean, if you want to speak to people of Japan, that's a great thing to know, to get the TV and find out how Japanese they live. But if you want to know, talk to the people here, there's all of them, they're in your family, in your clan. Just get together and know them, and gain experience. When people, they get together in here, together, as I said, this is the nature of the humanity. When brothers are together, and then the children are together, the cousins are there, parents are there, the whole thing becomes an organic being. Just like my cell, one of my cell can enjoy a better life to be a part of my whole body. Clearly you can see one of my cell will die in no time. But if it is connected in a formula to create my body, all the cells individually, they enhance their life in this busyness of a unity that they have together to create my body. The same way, if the members of the family, they get together to create this organic living being, all the individuals, they draw energy from each other and they become a lot stronger. This was the strength that people, the Anglo-Saxons, had to come across Atlantic, because it just gives you so much power, extra power you're getting, as if it's a being. If there's 100 people, 50 people, 10 people in this clan, in this family get together, as if there's 20 eyes, as if there is, for 10 people, there's 20 legs. Every man as if has 20 legs, as if has 20 eyes. It's way bigger. The confidence, the level of confidence, the level of power goes a lot more. Imagine if you're single and you're threatened by some guy to hit you, to beat you, or even to animal or anything. You're, of course, especially if you're a weak person, you're afraid. But if you're in the gathering of the people, such as your family member, that they know you and you're a part of them, you have no fear. Automatically, isn't it? You're not threatened by a big bully in front of all your family members. You have no fear. Why do you have no fear? Because all those other souls around you, they give their support to you and you see it. Therefore, this gathering is necessary if you want to survive the life and you want to taste happiness, you want to taste power, personal power. It's very amazing that every individual connected to this, it feels powerful, because all the time they have all this power. So this was the entertainment for people before, just getting together. It was like me, I was from Iran. It was the greatest joy for us when my auntie would visit us and their children would come. It was just real serious fun. We had, our family members, we play as the children. And I see they get together and they talk. It's so great. So, this is what I had to say about it. I've written that. It's almost like a credit union, This member of this family, they lend money to each other, they support each other, there's a problem, there's something to fix. Anything that comes out, you are a part of it and you have it. So, This is really the mandate of the Baha'u'llah and the Baha'i faith, to get the mankind in a real unity, more than what it is right now. Even at the time of Baha'u'llah, this clans and this family situation was existing, not completely dispersed. Baha'i faith, of course, wants to make all of these clans live, organic togetherness, a society, a city, and a whole world to feel that way. Imagine what a planet would be that if we're all together. So what destroyed it, it was all these fast inventions that we had materially. We grew materially so fast. We made TV only to separate us from each other. We made the phone only to hear each other's voices, not our presence. Everything we made meant to separate us from each other, you see. Or at least that's what's doing right now. It wasn't meant probably like that. It's how we use them. All these medias have not put us together, have separated us more. So far, right now, it is so bad that there's nothing can cement it together. The religions of the past, like a glue, they're totally useless to put these people together. We just have to have a new glue, a new mandate, a new pattern of how getting together. And this is not just related and limited to the people who have families. Even if you don't have family, you can just, as I said before, you can adopt a child, or you can adopt a parent if you don't have one. Just go adopt brothers and sisters. As you talk to them, find out how you can get closer and closer and create that organic, power within yourself, those who can get together more and more. Not exactly as we are Amish people that you have to give up everything, because they understood before this invention they were together, so they're afraid of using all this communication means. They have understood enough that these things are separating them. I don't need to go that far, but Mennonites are much more, better. You see, they're all like a clan. They're all together. I don't know, based on the Christianity they come together, how it works. Some of them do hear it and there on TV sometimes that they're suffering. But we are civilized people. We know what the problem is, and we could do it. In Islam, it's not just a vow of marriage. Believe it or not, I was told as a kid that sometimes two men, they have a vow of brotherhood, just like a marriage. Yeah? They say certain words or whatever, and they shake hands to become each other's brother. So, the difficulty is that, of course, I've had this talk a lot of time to the people, especially Anglo-Saxons, and they have this, better mocking, I don't know how to describe this smile on their face that, like you're coming from dreamland, Mr. Tamori, what is this? What are you talking, Because it is just such a difficult thing for them to get together. The point of it is that my psychology of the Anglo-Saxons, let's say, Germans included, serious arrogance. Serious arrogance that is also mixed with the shy. They're shy and oversensitive. It's amazing that such a sensitive people, they have created such a tolerant society as in Canada it is. So a tolerant society is made out of the individual sensitive people, And intolerant societies, as like Iranians are, is made out of very tolerant people. Persians and Arabs, they're very tolerant of each other's. Within their family at least, within their, outside of it maybe not. The sphere of it is very limited. But here people are very, very sensitive. One bad word you say, one bad joke, one bad look even sometimes. Most of my Canadian friends, they take it seriously and they just don't want to see you anymore. And they don't talk to you also that why you did this. To them, there's no need to talk about it. All I know is that I just don't want to be with you. That's what it is. Is it arrogance? Is it lack of communications? Because the result of it, they end up all being loners. So many loners are out there that they just can't be with each other. In the course of time, they just learn to live alone. I'm so many 27 years in Canada, it's scary for me when I go some of these houses to give an estimate or give them prices, and I see 70, 75 years old man or woman all by herself living in the house. I tell them, me as a 50 years old person, I can't live alone in the house. I'm just afraid. Something might happen. I might fall. I have to have somebody to call on me, to take me to hospital if some injury happens or anything. It's just that it is impossible for me to live just by myself. It is so difficult. And these people have just used to it. That's it, That's the end of humanity. When we have learned that we cannot be with each other, hopeless, and we have to let go. So, there are some preventive measures that I've studied myself in the Baha'i faith that we could diagnose the problem and maybe prevent it. So, at the beginning, I would say that, well, most of us, we come back from the work, I don't drink, but you guys have your beer, open up a beer on the couch and watch the TV, and maybe just doze a little bit after. I mean, just have no patience for nobody. How do we create this enthusiasm that's dead in you? Cut down on the damn TV. Just get in the snips and just cut it. You don't need it. Stop also this internet business. Don't need that either. Now, if you want to get out because there's nothing in the house, you want to get out to go to the bar for a drink, don't go. You want to go to some place to do some gym and bodybuilding, don't go. Don't. Just don't do it. Then you're forcing yourself. Idea comes, hey, I haven't been talking to my sister such a long time. I haven't spoken to my brother. Maybe I need to talk to them. Especially nowadays, phone calls are so cheap anywhere they are. Start going to talk on the phone. If they're close by, set up time. Let's go for a coffee. Just revive each other. Say, okay, what do you remember of me as a child? What do I remember of you as a child? First, it's very boring. But believe me, as you do it, there is such a thing called habit in man. You get habituated to it. You like it. Is it worse than the smoking? When you started, you hated it, but then got used to it. This kind of a thing, you love it. Don't go to a casino to do gambling. If you do that, you're going to learn to do that. Don't do that. Start your sister. And if they don't respond, just go back and say, listen, I need to talk to you. Why are there things I want to talk? So once two of you together, get the third one, whoever can be close to you, and go on. Then try to go see your uncles, your aunties, grandpas, grandmas. Buy gifts for each other. Don't just buy a gift. Just here to see what your brother says, what he wants. And it's, I wish I had this book, so I wish I had that thing. I guess always I bring books because that's the only thing I could think I want. I don't like any things. I can't think of anything I like really. I'm not depressed. I just like to see things, maybe even use them, but I don't want to possess them. I have no room for it. Books I do, even I'm thinking that I have to put it in the computer. I don't like to touch the books in the computer yet. I'm not used to it. I just like the actual book in my hand. But here, your brother and your sister, what would they want, you know? Sometimes they say, I wish somebody would talk to my son, this does that, this. Just think about that. See what you can do. Go talk to your brother's son. Continue this. Gradually, you guys come together. But when it comes to the money, be careful, because money is the rule of all the evils. This is your own words. So do these things legally. In the Baha'i faith, it says that if you pay money to somebody, Abdul says keep a receipt, even if it's your brother. Not because you don't trust him, it's just you can't trust memories, you can't trust a lot of things, you know. You may die before even you hand his money to him. So keep a receipt so we know it's clear, but definitely do give money to each other's. Take a receipt though. Again, this is not the question of distrust, it's the question of not knowing where the future stands. I do not want to borrow money from my friend or my brother without a receipt because I'm afraid I may die in the next 10 minutes on the next life, and I'm saying that I owe money to this man. And he can't go to collect the money after I'm dead. So, but if he has the paper, he could. So do that, please. Make sure that, and definitely stay away from backbiting when you're each other. If any one of you has a problem talking, oh, uncle did this, oh, auntie this, that cousin this, his nephew is like that, don't. Stay away from the realm of backbiting. Baha'u'llah says it quenches the life out of your heart. Just don't do it. But there are complaints, there's no doubt. Complaint comes, try to explain it. You know, why did the guy do this, you know? Even if he's a heroin addict, don't attack him. Try to be what the circumstances led this to him. Find yourself responsible as a family member. What could you have done to prevent it? Have you done anything, you know? And immediately also talk about the good things about the same person. If you have nothing good to say about him, don't even say bad things. For every bad things and complaint you have from family members of yours, you gotta have to have few good things to say on the side, okay? These are some of the preventive measures, but there are also solutions when the real problem comes. Again, if you go into nature, I'm using the prime directive of Baha'u'llah, of Abdul Baha. He says the material world and the spiritual world are counterpart of each other. A clan, if a man is an atom, an element, when there are 50 of them, 60 of them, then they're like a molecule. So if an atom, let's say, have lots of electrons in it, such as uranium, they call it radioactive because the things is not as stable. What happens, they keep losing the electron. They say all the radioactive, they'll keep losing electron, radiate, and that's very dangerous anyways, till they all become lead, element called lead. They're all down to lead, then they stabilize. When there are a lot of people get together, it is like the character of atom, of like a uranium, very powerful, but at the same time, it might be very difficult to stabilize it. So as you're there, somebody says something very easily, you know, you can hurt each other or bother each other. And then tomorrow the guy says, I decide I'm not going to go there, and not to go. And then that causes it. Always be vigilant to see who is getting pissed off at somebody else, who's getting angry, who's getting mad, who is disliking the situation. Keep asking that everybody's happy. When something seriously bad happens in the West, usually, you know, somebody gives money to somebody, or, you know, they are after a girl, or a house deal, or there was a work job, something happens that they're getting angry at each other. And usually in the West, people do that. They don't go furthermore. They don't talk about it, but they stay away from each other, which is the worst solution. So if a situation like that happens, usually if two people get hurt, along with them there are others as well. if my son and my brother's son, they have a fight because they said bad word to each other or about each other's father, on the defense, me and my brother also might get mad at each other. But then we have two other sisters or brothers that are on the side, are not part of this four problem. They're affected by it. Those people who are least affected, they have to start to talk. Others should not interfere. They have to listen to those people they talk. They have to say, okay, brother and sister, I see Joe and Jim are angry because their children, Tom and Brian, had a fight over this. What do you think? She says this and he says that. Gradually trying to understand that, first of all, why should we forgive? Forgiveness, a lot of time has been said, it's not going to work because forgiveness, you guys think, has to come along with a forgetness. So I'm forgetting it, wiping it, therefore I forgive it. It actually is a pretending procedure. It doesn't work. The best way to forgive is to analyze to see what the problem was. Most of the time we're estimating, overestimating, or underestimating the problem. We're too weak, we get hurt, but it was not a big deal. So this is why the others were not hurt. They have to intervene and try to talk. And others better be quiet and not to say anything on this. Maybe 5-6 minutes of talk when they have. Then I think the second group, they have to talk a little bit more and continue this. Tell these two brothers, these two children that they were fighting at each other to understand why they should be with each other, and their togetherness as cousins are so big of a deal for them now or in future. In many fields, you know, if there's a job situation when all of a sudden your cousin is there, if there is another problem, all kind of things. You just have to, just closeness, it helps you. So organism with many, many heads in it, it's better for the individuals. So the benefit of togetherness always has to be reminded to people, and why this is very, very harmful to you personally, not understanding what is the stake here, and also what happened to the circumstance and situation, analyze it, and then bring it over and say that, well, it is very simple. We were weak or ignorant. We did things that was wrong, not understanding the other person's feelings. We have to apologize to each other and we have to hug each other. It might take a few days. But there has to be a mechanism, just like it's in the body. We have immune system. It comes and kills the germs. These contentions and these disputes and these quarrels are a part of the bigger society in a clan. Always is going to be there. Mechanism has to be there all the time, that the wiser people, they have to, it doesn't matter, there's no office here to appoint somebody or something. Don't do that. That turns into an office. It's not a bureaucracy. It's just those who feel to talk about it. They can come in and people should not talk, should let them to discuss. And if somebody wants to interject, add something else, solve the problem. Okay? And this is the best way to solve these issues. But don't talk about it and think, okay, I'm not going to forget it. And you come again to the society, to the gathering, but you don't want to talk to your cousins there. That's bad. Don't come is worse. Coming with this feeling that you have is bad. You should not actually forgive what is wrong. We should understand what was wrong first, and then you have to understand what are the benefits of forgiving it and go towards that. To be selfish is okay if you understand who the self is. Self is you and everybody else in the clan with you. And these are the situations where there's contentions, conflict, then backbiting comes up. talks about that one talks about this one. But the worst thing that the kid kills it is right there. Immediately intervene and say, don't talk about him because he's not here. And say that with a smile. Don't turn into a priest when you're saying that. That the guy is not here. We're talking about him. Has to be here, isn't it? It's fair. Because if you want to keep talking about him, he's not here. I'm going to be him, and I'm going to defend myself or him on his behalf. Do not allow backbiting, talking behind somebody. People can get closer to each other as much as they want to. They can have personal secret. But those secrets are not about hurting another person within the clan or doing anything wrong. For that matter, illegal. Because if you hurt now, do anything illegal, do anything wrong, get sued, I don't know, anything wrong, the whole clan will get disturbed. If you do this, this is the secret where we can build Canada. If you really want to start to do this, but you could do it often without religion of Christianity or Islam. The best media and medium for it is Baha'i faith. But if you're not even Baha'is and haven't understood Baha'i faith, haven't read the Baha'u'llah's book, you got to know there are things that cause problem. Drinking too much in the gathering. All the children, they look at you and they learn from you. Go drink at home, but nobody's seeing you. Here, you can't be a role model of drinking. And while you're drinking, also you're saying a lot of BS words. All other youngsters are learning from you. So if you want to drink together big, it's not going to work. It is bound to have a fight and contention and conflict with it, and that is why it's killed you. Stop in this drinking process, especially binge drinking. I don't know if you want to go have one small drink, go ahead, but to the point that you lose your personality or you're not yourself anymore, it's a cheat, it's a plagiarism, because you're representing something that you're not. Why? Because you drank. And the other, bad habits that comes with it. So Baha'i faith would be the best medium if you understood it and talked about it. All right. I guess this was the third level of the relationship. I talked about few benefits of it. I did give you some prevention measures and Baha'i ways of mechanism solving the problem. So I'm going to stop right now. The topic is big. The whole idea of these talks that I've made, I'm not trying to go on the pulpit and try to tell to people what to do. It's very bad to learn quotations or words from me and to go to apply. It's totally awful. You can't do that. All of this is that so you learn what my opinions are, that might intrigue you to have your own opinion. All these things that I say are true if me am dealing with the topic, but you're not me. So all of these things are personal opinion, personal experiences that you learn how somebody's mind is made up about these ideas so you can have your own. Sometimes criticize it, sometimes reject it, and sometimes add to it. Wisdom cannot be learned by reading the quotations of the wise people. But if you read a story, a novel, sometimes, a real one of course, not Batman and Superman, because those things, they don't exist. I don't know, there were novels, you read it, like Hunchback of Notre Dame, like Les Miserables, like of the mice and the men, or so many other things. We have even movies that are real. Out of the real life, as we see these things, out of that we can learn wisdom. Wisdom is in there, like a jewels in the mine. You got to go pick it up, discover it, and find it. Listening to the wise man does not make you wise. It just gives you idea where this guy is. That's all. Thank you very much. God be with you. Till the next time.